Good evening, everyone. I'm Corey, and we are 20 Sides to Every Story. We are running through Out of the Abyss, one of the original adventures in the 5e series, and now in our 15th episode. I will get to sort of where the plot is so far, but let me first tell you my normal intro spiel. 20 Sides to Every Story is a great community of gamers of all sorts. We have a lot of different dimensions to us. And so I encourage you strongly to both follow this channel on Twitch as well as join our Discord. Our Discord is active pretty much all times a day. Our community gets into all sorts of things. From D&D to DCC. There's a group of people playing 7 Days to Die quite regularly in the last 2 weeks. Thanks for the cheers, Ed. And we get into pretty much everything. So it's a great group of guys and ladies and all sorts. And I highly encourage you to follow and to say hi. If you like what you see and you want to support us, there's two good ways. Best is probably through our Patreon. Our Patreon, there's a host of benefits associated with the Patreon. One of the biggest is access to our community campaign game, which are typically held once a week. And currently, Alex is running the group through the Lost City, one of the original adventures reincarnated. So one of the Lost City was included with the blue set, right? I think the extra set, if I remember correctly. It's a great way to get involved. All the games are drop in, drop out, so you can just, if you want to play for 4 hours, it's a great chance to do so with a great bunch of people. The other way is to, of course, subscribe to our channel. People who subscribe to our channel get sort of also access to those games. The priority is not as great as the Patreon. Thanks, Galaxian5. We appreciate that for the cheers. But still, often it's easy to get into these games, so no problem at all. And of course, those of you who are Twitch Prime subscribers may have a free subscription waiting in the wings. So, and yeah, I think we'll that's my little spiel. So our party is in the middle of Gracklstow, having first been kidnapped by a set of drow and brought to the Underdark, then escaped, then fled across the Underdark, only to come across the Koatoa village, which was peaceful for a few minutes right before it was destroyed by an invading demon lord, Demogorgon, to everyone's surprise. The party successfully fled that situation, fled across the Dark Lake, and landed in Gracklstow. When they left their slave camp, they actually split into two parties, and they were intentionally meeting in Gracklstow to meet up with the other group. And they finally were, they ran into one of the members of that party a few sessions back, but he was captured by slavers again, and he was being sold. That's Prince Darendil. The group was able to successfully negotiate Darendil's release to them. After a little bit of craziness happened at the sale for him, in which, in the middle of the sale, a stone giant who's, upon praying to his god, had suddenly sprouted a second head and gone on a rampage through the city. They put that threat down. They like I said, convinced them that Darendil wasn't for sale. And when we left the party, they were a little split up. A group of them took Darendil out to one of the islands outside of Gracklstow just to make sure that he was not going to be re-enslaved, while the other half of the group retired to the place they've been staying, which is an inn in the middle of the city. So with that, I will leave it to the characters to introduce themselves. What I'm going to do is, like I said, give me a brief introduction to your character. We'll start with Dolphix, and then I'll go across the screen. And Dolphix, every character can ask the question to the next character about their character. So Dolphix, please start.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Ethan. I play Dolphix. He is a gnome fighter. Are you gonna pitch me a question, or am I just gonna...
Feel free to pitch Drazzle a question about Drazzle.
Okay, cool. All right, Drazzle, time to ask you a question.
Vic will get you on the back end.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, Drazzle, question. Let's see. Does Drazzle have any family or friends back from where he's living, where he lived? And if so, do they miss him? You're muted.
Drazzle is part of a clan of other lizard people, and we all one family. So I think they all still there, but they make me go away. So maybe not my family there anymore.
All right. Drazzle, please introduce yourself and your character, and throw out questions to Jason.
I am Scott. I am playing Drazzle, who is a lizard folk cleric, and his main question that he's interested in knowing from Jaisa is, I was wondering who is going to get this. If you had max supply, no end to supply of one thing you have, never not have thing, have as many of thing as you want, what is thing?
Well, I'm Ed. I'm playing Jaisa. Jaisa is a halfling rogue of the inquisitive variety. Well, Drazzle, if I could have one thing, and I would never run out of it. I think it's a cop-out, but the only thing I can think of is freedom. I would not be bound again.
What?
Is freedom salty or sweet food?
Well, luckily it's both, depending on what you choose, because you're free to choose.
I will have to try this sometime. You can make, or do we have to buy?
You just have it, or you don't.
Okay.
Thanks, Scott, for the subscription while that was going on. We appreciate 18 months in a row. Jason, what would you like to know from Vic?
Vic, tell me about the best show you ever played.
So I'm playing Vic Valentine, and as you might be able to guess from the question, he is a bard. He is a half-elf bard. Originally from Tribor. He does perform quite a bit. There was a tavern that he used to play at back home, and a lot of his shows would, or a lot of his primary method of music is very much like epic storytelling in song form. And the best show that he ever played was sort of a farewell show for when his brother and sister were called up to Waterdeep to join their theater troupe. He played a very evocative set, and it sort of, from their perspective, probably was just like salt in the wound a little bit. They're trying to get away from me and a lot of the patrons. It was their going away party, and I was the talk of the night because it was, from my perspective, it was great. Some of my best music, but only further split our divide, unbeknownst to Vic.
All right. So, the night passes for the two different groups. I would say for the group who is out on the island with Prince Darendil, the big thing you guys encounter over the course of the night is nothing dangerous, but you do get your second view of the dragon lighting the flames, despite it being far away. Now that you know what it is, it's pretty obvious as you see sort of spouts of brightness appear above the city as the dragon, the wormsmith, is going around lighting the forges at the start of the day. For those of you in the inn, I would say that the biggest takeaway from your evening is it's a fitful sleep. It's not, you get your rest, but it's not, there's an unease with which you feel. Perhaps it's the uncertainty of knowing what to do next. Perhaps it's something else. So it's the start of the day. Did anyone not have Greco Long?
I did not,
Okay.
but I'm not in town.
Okay.
I didn't have it.
So Vic, you're in town.
Yes.
You should roll a Constitution check real quick.
I had the exhaustion level 1, so I think that meant I had it.
Yeah, you no longer have it, exhaustion level 1,
Okay.
because you guys all did lesser restorations to get rid of it. 1 second, sorry. All right, you are fine. All right, so the day starts, and let's start with the group who's on the island. What's your plan?
We are waiting for the rest of party to come back, but while we wait, we eat.
Well, I don't know that that's correct. I don't know that they will be able to find us. I think we'll need to make our way back to them, but I think we should wait until we know that Darendil is fit and capable.
I think we make food is always a good start. Full belly, full brain.
Well, a full belly sounds wonderful.
And Hemeth is with you. Hemeth, for the audience, Hemeth is an individual that they met in the Koatoa village, who they rescued, and he happens to be a fisherman of the Dark Lake, and so he helped them get across the Dark Lake. And since arriving in Grecosto, he's been a little bit of their tour guide / confidant. Okay, so you guys are cooking food. You're sort of waiting for Darendil to be healed. He's pretty weak. Are you using magic to make this go faster, or are you just going to let him convalesce?
I've looked into a couple options for this to see what is maybe wrong with him. If he has a disease, I attempt a lesser restoration, see if I can help remove this disease from him.
He no, it's not. It's just something that without magic, he just needs a few days rest.
Okay. I could try to heal him, but I thought lesser restoration if he was afflicted by something. If he had a condition,
No,
I would go that route.
The normal cure spells would work to repair his broken bones. He probably has pretty much a permanent injury in the one arm that looked so bad. But he would, with some rest, he'll restore some function to it.
Once we arrived on the island for the night, I would run through the right whole list of my spell options to try and give him something, as well as just trying to make sure we had a fire to keep him warm.
Okay. For those of you back in the inn, what
I think we may have told them that we found Darendil.
Yeah.
No. I think Dolphix is waking up early and getting some food, reading his spell book, and waiting for Vic to show up to figure out what to do next.
Yeah, is there any, do you guys have, actually for the two of you, I will need one of the two of you to roll that D20. I believe, Ethan, you did last time.
Go for it, Alex.
Okay. Sorry, my audio went out for a second. I caught him rolling a d20. I can handle that.
That morning D20 that we've been doing.
Okay.
All right.
14.
All right. So, what for the two of you? What is your plan for the day?
Well, I think we maybe should lie low. I'm still doing that like side eye to see if I can detect our stone guard observers. Well, what is our plan now that we've recovered Darendelle?
Well, sorry, I've been overslept a little bit this morning. I'm a little fuzzy on the details. They were going to come meet us here today, right? They were heading out, bringing Darendelle out to the island, and they come back in the morning.
You know, we didn't exactly discuss the finer points of our plan, if we can call it that. But I imagine that would be the most logical route to pursue. So if they want to find us, the easiest way is to come meet us at the inn. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I'm hoping that they found a nice spot to secret him away. Then we can kind of decide. Do we have Eldath and those other folks here with us?
The only person who's still sketchy is Drow, whose name I will remember in like 15 seconds.
Zareth.
He is like now his whole schedule is sort of shifted, where he is out most of the day. Sometimes you catch him napping in the middle of the day, so he can be out.
I believe last time we had been chatting with at least Eldath a little bit about where we might go next to try to maybe get out of Gracklstow to lay low for a little bit. Am I misremembering, or?
We're trying to get to where Stool is from. I don't know.
Yeah.
We manipulate from here to there.
You guys, the things you guys know so far is that generally, you believe Gauntlegrim is your best. Blingdenstone, sorry, Gauntlegrim is where Eldith's from. You believe Blingdenstone is your best. That's one of the Deep Gnome territories. You also know that Stool's home, and the party's trying to return the mic out to his own, is roughly in that direction. And the third thing you know is that if Stool gets close to his home, his innate senses will help him actually navigate that.
So, Dolphix, what do you think? Where do you see us heading next? Obviously, I'd like to know a little bit more about. I'm hoping that the others will be able to tell us what Darendelle's been through, because that might give us some sense if we can expect the others. But I think we need to start getting people home. I'd like to see Stool off before we make our way up top.
Yes, I would agree. And, well, I don't want to sound too pessimistic, but by the shape of Darendelle, I'm not expecting much from the others.
Eldith is probably as hopeful as you've seen her during this conversation, because it's the first time it's not. She doesn't believe you've dragged her, like you've kept her here. I'm not suggesting that, but it's the first time that you're that close to getting to sort of the last step. And she totally agrees with returning Stool. She's been taking care of him. She's quite happy. But you can see there's sort of a lightness in her face that you haven't seen in quite some time.
Yes, I would think that we should head towards Blingdenstone. But a thought occurred to me. Perhaps we should, if they do not already know, warn the inhabitants of Gauntlgrim of an impending demonic force that may be set upon them.
It'd definitely be useful information for them to know since they're sitting right over it. And Eldeth, that's your destination, right? You're trying to head back to Gauntlgrim ultimately?
To Gauntlgrim.
Yeah, I misspoke. I meant Gracklstow, but
Oh.
wherever, because we're in Gracklstow.
You're in Gracklstow. Blingdenstone is the place, the Deepstone city. You're certain that, or you're not certain, but that's your best bet for surface routes.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gauntlgrim is above the Underdark. It's
right.
the mountains above the Underdark. That's where Eldeth.
Yeah. I meant to say we should warn the people here that there may not be a giant two-headed demon coming their way, if they don't already know.
Well, I'm okay with that in theory, but I'm getting the sense we don't really understand how things work down here, and us bringing such a message of doom, I'm just worried about how that might get interpreted, if you get my meaning.
Perhaps, but I would not rest very easy knowing that this city could be, attacked and destroyed because we have not done anything.
Delphix, you know who we might deliver such a message to? Or do we understand who the leader ain't that big dragon that lights the forges, right? There's got to be one of these...
Yes, I was hoping, and Dolphix is looking around again, that we might be able to make contact with someone. Still looking around.
Well, maybe we could ask our barkeep friend. He didn't seem like he was too judgy on answering questions.
So I think you guys would know, just from general knowledge at this point, from being around Kenneth so long, and let me just make sure I'm not quoting something wrong. I think you would know that this the Stone Guard. So there's maybe two groups that you could think of. The Stone Guard are the guards in the city. And so those are the ones who, for instance, interacted with you after the two-headed giant. So you have them who their purview is definitely safety and security of the city. The other might be the Council of Merchants, who are they are entrusted to make sure that trade and commerce, which is just as important as industry in the city, make sure that the trade and commerce flow smoothly. So it's really a question of what tact and how you're going to say that to them.
Given all the people that we could talk to, Dolphix, I think I'd feel most comfortable with talking to the Stone Guard.
Yes,
at least we've got a little bit of clout with them.
That was my feeling as well. How do we get a hold of them is the question. Can we see like Stone Guard around our area of the city?
No, but there's if you asked the sorry, I'm trying to get to the map. If you asked the around, including the innkeeper, you're actually quite close to the stronghold of this, like the headquarters of the Stone Guard.
Oh. Yeah. Well,
we could head out this morning and run that message over there before meeting up with Drazel and Jasa. We could leave a message here with our barkeep friend and let him know we'll be right back.
Yeah, that seems like an excellent idea.
Sure.
So we'll leave a message with I forget the bard keeps name, but we'll leave a message with him that if Jason Drazzle happen to make it back before we do, that we're just around the corner. We'll be right back.
Okay. Sorry, I just thought. Okay. What's going on? All right. Okay. You guys on the island. So what actually is it? So you wake up. Darendil probably needs some rest, like healing. His body is sort of healing up, but between exhaustion and things like that, he'll need some time off. So what is your plan on the island?
Part of what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create some water and try and make a like a bathing area for him, and see if I can heat it up. I think one of the things that'd be very good for him to be a good deep down clean. So I've been trying to fashion a area where I can put the water and then maybe apply burning hands or something to light it up and warm it up for him. So I've been trying to think of ways to bring comfort to this guy that's in obvious discomfort.
Jason, anything to add to that? Do you have a plan for the day, or are you guys just going to sit on the island, or?
I think my plan would be to stay here, particularly after the story that Darendil told us about his journey. I don't want to abandon him at this point. So I think my plan would be to stay here, cook some food, try to, as Drazzle said, keep him comfortable, and keep him company. And when we get a little bit more ahead of things and some confidence back, then head back to town.
And I'm talking with Yais. Yais, me think maybe you and he go back in boat, get everyone else. I stay here with friend. I don't think he is ours. I think we did not close deal, and I do not want to lose him.
No, we were not intending to actually purchase him. We don't want to own him, Drazzle.
No, me no, but I think someone else think they still own.
Yes, and that's why I was insistent that we get him out of town.
Yeah, so I stay here because people know me. I think because of the wolf thing, maybe they know me. So
that might be one of the reasons.
I should maybe stay here on island, and it's sort of like I think what is spa day is. We sit here, we have water, we have quiet and peace.
Mushroom.
Is a good thing.
All right. Okay, so you guys, Jason, are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
So you and Hemeth come back. Drazzle, is there a specific time you want Hemeth to return to?
To return to come back to us?
Well, you have absolutely no connection to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Or any way to get back. So,
but he's planning on, as I understand it, I think he's leaving, and when he comes back, I'm expecting him to come back with the rest of the people, and that maybe one of us would need to go with him to make sure that happens.
Okay. Did I miss that in the explanation?
That's what I thought was, because I don't know how we're getting from here to there, but I don't think we want to go back through town. And so I think if we're going to leave our friend here to recover, we're going to need to leave town to come here and then go wherever we're going.
All right. Jay, so that's your understanding as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you guys head back. So it'll take a few hours to get there. So you probably, unlike before where you had to take sort of a roundabout route to find a place, this time you can be pretty direct.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say around midday, like right smack at noon or so, you guys get back. The rest of you head to the headquarters of the Stone Guard, which is called the Overlake Hold. And we were joking before this session started about I have no clue where the characters were going to go. Someone then counter-joked, where do you not want them to go? And they have successfully figured that out, even without revealing. So, give me 1 second.
High five team.
So, this is as you approach it, it's a fortress and a temple dedicated to one of the Dwargard gods, and it's similar to other. You've probably seen homes in the distance carved into the stalagmites, but you haven't seen a fortress sort of this size. And it borders right in the Dark Lake, and so it's clear that the defensive position of this is great. You can see most of the walls on the south side of the city. I can see a lot of the lake, and you know it also as the home of the Deep King, and so also the center of the government. And so the it just bristles with very sort of forged chimneys poking out like every angle from this thing, and smoke's just coming out of this. And you as you approach closer, you see all the ledges have catapults, which all the pretty much pointed at the Dark Lake itself. So what's your plan? You're just walking straight up and
Yeah, I'll walk up and announce ourselves.
so there's a Dwargar. There's sort of two Dwargar in front of the door, and they're like, "State your business."
Well, I don't know if you heard about us. We helped out the other day with that giant situation that happened downtown.
And he looks at you and he says, I heard about it, but I don't know you guys. What are you doing here?"
Well, we have some information we were hoping to share. Do you have a captain, or is there somebody that we could file a report with? We got maybe some additional information to share about that incident.
Um, hmm. And they look at each other and they say, "Wait here. We'll figure out if there's anyone to take the report." And so they just looking for a name here. They you wait for maybe 20-25 minutes, and in that time, sort of one of the guards walks off, who is stationed in front of the door, and they're replaced by two new guards. So 10 minutes pass, 20 minutes pass, and you start to think that they gave you the cold shoulder. When finally you see a female Dwargar with, judging by the outfit, the rank of some seniority. She comes out and she says, "What's all this about? You have some sort of report that we don't know about."
Well, we might have
go for it.
some information. Don't know if you know it or don't know it, but Dolphix, you want to share what we know?
Yes. Well, came under attack by what we believe by a demon lord, large two-headed beast of a thing. We're on our way out, and we just wanted to let you know that perhaps this beast may be coming your way, and to ready any defenses that you may have in case.
Can you? I'm sorry. Can you? What? And she looks at you with like profound confusion.
Yes, I understand quite the news, but well, on our way here, we came across a demon lord that was summoned from whatever abyss it came from, and could very well likely be on its way here.
She just sort of looks at you like completely like blankly. Make me a quick persuasion check.
Okay.
We got rerolls.
So yeah, now's the best time in the audience to tell the XP store is down below your screen, and you can buy all sorts of things for the players or for me. Rerolls go to letting the players reroll a dice before I tell the result. That's you can buy them healing potions. You can buy them. You can introduce a complication by buying a wandering monster. Whatever you like. Dolphix, are you letting that?
Oh yeah, I'm letting that sit.
Okay. So she looks at you, and then she looks over at you, Vic, and she's like, okay. To my colleagues, you are worth nothing. Most of them, if they didn't follow a strict chain of command, would sell you to the first slaver they found. However, I'm a little bit more evolved than that. And I have ways that, let's say I realize your value, particularly here in the city. You were useful during that attack, whatever that was, of that mutant. And if you want, I can give you more work that would be better suited for a group like you than a group like us.
Well, I thank you for that kind offer. We would certainly take some time to think it over, and we know where to find you. And I guess apologies for wasting your time, Captain.
Very well. If you, I have my my artist on staff. If you'd like to describe this demon lord to him, he will, I'm sure, draw a picture, which we will make sure is distributed widely.
Oh no, that won't be necessary. I'm sure if a demon lord does ever show up on your doorstep, you won't have to think twice as to what it is.
Very well. And she turns around, and the artist is sort of just standing there, and the two cards are standing there, and he's sort of looking, trying to figure out what to do. And if you don't engage him, he turns around and sort of walks back into the stalagmite.
Yeah, I just give a courteous bow and just turn around and walk away.
Okay. So if is there anything else you want to do?
Well, Vic, I'm ready to leave when you are.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm so ready. Let's get back.
We head back to the inn. Eventually, Jasa is going to show up and make her way back to the inn. And if you want to explain everything. and your plan.
Yeah, so I will relay to you what we learned about Darendel and about the other group. How we believe Darendel and one other are the only survivors, because very likely that other survivor, Topsy, murdered all of the others.
Wow. Who's still alive? Who's still out there?
Darendil and perhaps Topsy. That's it, as far as he knows. Now, to be fair, from his story, he did not see Jimjar or Bupido killed. So it is possible that they're still somewhere, though it seems unlikely. From our brief interactions with Jimjar, I would be surprised were he to just abandon the group. I think more than likely he was also killed.
And
Is Stool is Stool here with us during this conversation?
It depends. Stool's he's a kid, right? Like, so he's running around. So if you felt
Okay.
like the sensitive portion of the, and Jason, I'm sure it's the same for you, you could easily time it to him not being able to hear.
Yeah,
So-
I think I would wait until that opportune moment to say that
think-
everybody else is dead.
Stool has like learned that he can be useful in the kitchens, and the innkeeper is like more than happy to, like, he likes playing. Like, Myconid colonies don't have kitchens, so like he's playing in the water and splashing. So
Wasn't there someone who wanted to eat him, though? I feel like there was some threat to his safety through someone consuming him.
I think that was like when we were still outside of Grackle, so when we were with that hag lady wanted to buy him. Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
yeah.
So to make sure he's hanging out by the kitchen, like maybe that's not what we should be letting him do.
Jason, before you arrived, we all were kind of talking about maybe it's high time we leave Gracklestone. One of the things we were thinking was maybe head up to what was the name of it? Blingdenstone?
Blingdenstone.
Is that it? Blingdenstone? And along the way, we might be able to stop by and take Stool to his people. It seems like they are pretty well connected. I'm wondering if there isn't an opportunity maybe here to bring Stool back, but then maybe tap in to find out what they know. Maybe they have ways of confirming the status of Jimjar and Bupido. If they're still alive, I want to do everything I could to help make sure that they're okay too. We were all in this together, but if it's too late, if they're gone, well, that'd just be peace of mind for me.
Yes, I think that's not a bad idea. Certainly, there are those with the means to locate individuals. If they're still alive, we could find out. I do think that getting on the way is probably not a bad idea. Darendil will need some time to heal, probably another day or two. But I think one of the things that we should do is we should acquire another boat. And that's if Hemeth will take us in his boat, take some of us in his boat, at least as far out of town to the road toward Blingdenstone, or somewhere where we can get back on that road, such as it is.
I feel like Eldath will come with us. I'm not sure about
Sareth?
Sareth.
I would
Sorry.
say at this time in the conversation, you guys know Sareth is actually in the bunk sleeping. Like it really seems like his whole night day has just been distorted.
We could certainly ask him. He is his own man. He can decide whether or not he wants to come with us.
Yeah, I'd be fine with asking him. I'm getting the sense seems like he's up to something here, and I'm not even sure that I want to know what that is.
Nor would I. Very well.
Well, regardless, we'll need 2 boats, as
Yes.
each one can hold 4, and possibly 5. But if one of them is Darendel, certainly only 4.
Very well.
So around this, as you're having this conversation, the group of you see wander in, and there's not too many Dwergar who come in here. There's of course the staff, but in general, this isn't a Dwergar hangout, right? It might be a place they do business, but that's pretty rare. Like they would probably be outside this inn, which is primarily intended for foreigners. And you see, he's dressed in a sort of elaborate robe that covers his head, and he has a staff in his hand. You see him look around the room briefly before he sort of eyes on you, and he's headed straight for you. Is there anything you are doing in preparation? He doesn't seem hostile.
Well, hold fast, fellows.
Just turn toward him.
Got a visitor.
So he walks up and he starts to speak in Dwarven. And so for those of you who actually speak Dwarven, he says, excuse me, are you those who assisted with that disturbance in the market the other day, yesterday?
I respond back to him in Dwarvish. You got it. That's us. Word gets around quick.
Very well. The Wormsmith requires your presence.
Oh, got some fancy medals to hand out, or ceremony of recognition? What's this all about?
While I am a keeper, I do not presume to know the mind of the Wormsmith. You will accompany me now. And you sort of like, it would be natural that you jump up and follow.
I was turned to Jason Dolphix and explain, like, I guess we gotta go see the Wormsmith. That's where he's taking us. It sounds like we don't have a choice.
Oh.
And he turns to you and he's like, of course you have a choice, but it would be highly unusual to ignore the Wormsmith.
I'm fine with that. I'm not trying to be obstinate. I'll comply.
Yes, we will go, but I will let you know we were just threatened that we would be taken into slavery with the last person we just talked to from the city. So,
You what now?
yes, so we'll tell you on the way. Let's go. Just
So who all three of you are going? Fine. Sorry, Draws. He starts to lead you away, and he walks pretty quick. You guys can keep up with him, but you can tell he's sort of impatient by your, like, you sort of waddling. The first thing, going back to our map, the first thing you notice is he is headed straight towards these gates, and it looks like he's going to pass through them. You guys, and you know from Hemeth, you know that Thimbertrode, the Wormsmith, is in the south, or I think this map is, yep, nope, it's right. It's in the southeast corner of the cleft that makes up Groundstone. So past the area that you are allowed. I'm assuming you're not protesting, you're just following willingly.
Just going.
Okay. So he gets up to the gate and waits for you to catch up, at which point he turns to one of the guards, and you see a heated conversation undercom. And it's not heated. It starts off calm, and then there's clearly a lot of pushback from the guard. but you see the keeper in front of you flash a pin that's on his rope, and the guard acquiesces, and these two stone gates open, and you're able to pass through. And you eventually move through this area. This is more residential. There are some businesses and whatnot, but it's a lot of it's just Duergar that you see around. You no longer see foreigners. People stop and are staring at you while you're here. You then get to the furry, which is, and Hemeth had described this to you. There is a giant gap in the middle of the city, and there are bridges, 13 of them that cross. And it's a fair bit down, over maybe around 100 feet down to the bottom. But he walks you across that. As you're around here, you see, one second. Oh, it's 200 feet deep, sorry. About 100 feet wide in total. And you can see on the bottom of it, those of you who have good, and even on the sides, you can see the Darrow live down there as you're walking by. There are homes sort of built into the side of this furrow. Sorry, I'm looking for one thing specific. Here it is. Up here, this area here, in this area that you see down here, this is probably the most foreboding and the most dark edifice that you've seen. And what it is it's two of these columns that come down from the top of the cavern, and there's actually a building built between them. And between just clouds of smoke, more of these forges that come off of it. And you see even giant basalt braziers as you get close are like surrounded around the perimeter of them, and they glow, giving this building itself this sort of hellish glow around you. And all around you see turrets, you see battlements. Like, it is a well fortified building, whatever this is. You're unaware of what it is, unless you want to do something about that. He walks you by that, and then eventually he gets you to the start of a very large sort of sub-chamber of the cavern that sits in Gracklstow. There's a few buildings on the outside, and as you approach, you see more of the individuals who are dressed the same way as the individual you were talking to. So with that, I think we'll take our break here. Just a little bit early, but because it's a natural break point before things start. So we'll be back in just 5 minutes. And thank you for joining us. Stick with us, and we will see you in just a few minutes. All right. Thanks, guys, for sticking with us. Okay. So, when we left most of the party, they were just outside of the Wormsmith's lair, being led there by the Keepers of the Flame, who are the group of Duergar priests who sort of tend to the needs of the Wormsmith. The Wormsmith is extremely powerful in Gracklstow because he is the reason that all the forges are lit. At the beginning of every day, he flies around the city and lights each of them in turn. He is a red dragon. And the players have all the characters have seen him do his duties once, and those who were out on the island saw it for a second time, although at a much greater distance. During the first time they saw this, Themberchode, which is his proper name, Themberchode seemed to stare at them and did a full sort of 360 arc in the air as he stared down at the party here. So this may be a conclusion to that. It may be a conclusion to helping slay the giant with two heads. So as your guide leads you up, he says, give me 1 second. He says, our master, and he points to another one of the Duergar in the sort of fancy robes walking towards you. Gartukar. He approaches. He will explain more. And this Duergar walks up to you, and he says, "You certainly took your time. The wormsmith waits. Do you have any questions before you approach?"
A number of them, but I sense that we don't have much time to ask them.
What is the proper way to address him?
Wormsmith is polite. It is his title. I suggest you bow politely. I suggest you face him as you're walking around out the room. And he goes through a list of actually pretty detailed protocol, which is probably the same as anyone who meets the Queen of England gets. And it's sort of maddening, the list of rules. But you generally get the idea: be polite, show deference, and he himself seems to be a stickler for details, but it's not clear that anyone else is.
Glad I asked.
As you are having this conversation and he's sort of rattling off this list, the ground starts to tremble suddenly as you feel like bass just flowing through the ground and into your chest, and you hear a thunderous voice echoing against every wall. It's in Dwarvish, so those of you who don't speak Dwarvish would not pick up on this. And he says, "Gartukar," and you start to see the head of Themberchode sort of stretch around, and he looks down at you, and he looks down at Gartukar, and he says, "You didn't say I was having surfacers for dinner today." And he starts to chuckle. You see, he's a dragon. He's quite beautiful. If you think of that as beautiful, scales, color of lava, perfect match. The bright eyes, yellow, glowing in the shadows of the cave. Probably the first thing you saw were the brightness of the eyes. His body, you can see in his neck, there are ripples, but not ripples of muscle. He actually looks obese. Is your first, not that any of you have but it's not right. What you think of as a sinuous reptilian creature, this has a lot of padding on it. And Gartukar looks at you and says, "Foreigners, please meet the Father of Flame, the ever-burning, and the Foundry's heart, Themberchode, the wormsmith of Gracklstow. And the dragon looks at you before sort of slinking his head 180, and you see him disappear into the cavern in front of you. And Gartakar says, please, after you.
Okay.
Right. Well, in we go, I guess.
We'll follow.
Right. Gartakar is pointing you in first. Sorry to be specific about that.
We'll follow Themberchode.
Okay. So you wander into the lair, and I think what you see is actually who does not have dark vision amongst you?
I do not.
Okay, so it is dark, like it is not. But the others of you, as you walk in, you see piles of gold, like you see, and Themberchode is resting on top of them, and you see this is an adult red dragon, massive, and every one of your suspicions about perhaps that he isn't as active as he should be is more obvious now that you see more than his neck. And you move in, and Gartakar is following you in, and he says, Themberchode says, Gartakar, I wish to speak to these foreigners privately. And Gartakar bows deferentially, and you see him turn away. And Themberchode sort of eyes you over.
I'm going to listen for how far, since I can't see, I'm going to tune into my ears and listen to how far away the priest goes.
As far as you know, the priest has completely exited the cavern.
Okay.
Like
so I hear him go far enough that it's not like he's around the corner.
No.
He's dropping.
For those of you who can see, the dragon is sort of like his head is sinuous and moving back and forth, looking at each one of you in turn. Not saying a word, but you do feel sort of the warm, like lava heated breath coming out of his nostrils as it sort of passes by. And certainly, Jasa, you also feel the warm air coming off of his breath. And then he turns up and he roars, like, and you see flame go straight into the ceiling. And now, Jasa, you see everything. There is gold literally everywhere. And the dragon is sitting on the top of it. And you see sort of the ceiling start to be shaped by the flames as it sort of digs into the rock and starts to vulcanize the rock above. And he turns and you see just anger in his face, and he says, I wish to speak to them privately. And any of you who are invisible, who spy upon me, will die. And you all hear the sound of pitter-patter behind you as things seem to run away. And he gets back to this sinuously movement, and he looks at each of you and he says, very well. What are your names, and where are you from?
Well, my name, Magnificent Themberchode, is Vic. I'm not from here. I'm not from down here. I'm from up top, a place called Tribor.
And how do you find yourself down here, little one?
Well,
body. Like it's the sort of cobra-like action of like you feel like it's moving, so it gets like there is a distinct feeling of it could strike at you at any time and hit you.
Let me first say you are much more magnificent in person. We saw you on the street lighting the forges, and it is one thing to see you at work, but this is a tremendous lair. You honor us with your presence. We all have a common story. We were all brought here as slaves to the Drow.
I see. And you two, who are you? Also, you slaves of the Drow.
I am Jace of Siltstride. I come from Callanport. And I am a slave to no one currently.
And you, little one?
My name is Dolphix. I formerly served under Lord Jader, just outside of Waterdeep, in a small little village.
I see. And he sort of turns around, like similar to what a cat or dog does. Like he just makes himself more comfortable in the gold that he's sitting on. And you see a lot of gold and a lot of gems sort of in front of you. And he says, I have a task for you. Very simple task, but one for which he'll be very grateful. And he doesn't, I think after he says that, he doesn't even pause. If arrogance could take a physical, odorous form, that's what's coming off this dragon. Sort of the movements and the, for those of you, if any of you had experience around red dragons, that sort of behavior. And he says, he gets very quiet and his neck sort of comes down straight in front of you. And now you all, not only do you feel the breath, but it's actually moving hair and clothing on you. And he does a whisper, as much of a whisper as a dragon can do. But he says, I wish for you to do the tasks of my keepers. Do what they ask.
Your keepers.
Yes, Gartokar and the others. But after you do them, you come to me first. And are you guys, are your characters being silent? Like you as players are being silent?
Yeah.
Why, if you would allow me to ask, Great Worm Speaker, why choose us?
Yes. And so I think he started to reach, his neck started to reach back up. The arrogance of sort of course you're going to do what he says. Like there's no defiance. So his head starts to reach back up and stops as you ask the question, and it slinks down and says, because you are not they.
Oh, understood, but would it not, and not that I question your judgment, Great Worm Speaker, but we are not Duergar. We are not allowed anywhere beyond the wall, frankly.
The petty details that the keepers will take care of. Now his head sort of, he's back completely on the pile. His head sort of going back in that sinuous movement. And he says, I'm sure Garthkar will have tasks for you. But as I say, bring back the information to me first. And you see him sort of, there's still that arrogance of, he doesn't you are nothing and he's a red dragon. There's no belief in his mind, and you don't need an insight check to know this. There's no belief in his mind that he thinks you're not going to do everything about this. The gold, how well fed he is, everything about this screams to you that this is an individual who gets literally everything he wants all the time. So you see him sort of making himself comfortable in one of the piles of gold and settling down for what might be in that. Is there anything else you're going to ask?
I think we've been dismissed.
Yeah, I just give a little bow. Actually, probably a low bow, and then head out.
So as you can see from the map, there's a little bit of a sharp turn here. So you guys were full in here, down here, and there's a little bit of a sharp turn. And Gartokar is literally like as close to the center of the entrance as he can be without being in the cavern itself. And he looks at you and he says, you spoke to him.
Well, of course, evidently. And I
what
imagine.
did he say?
Well, what you're listening? I kind of smile.
Of course not. We cannot hear the mighty Wormsmith says to us, like says to you in private. We would never dare.
Well, we were told that you may have some tasks for us to do on behalf of the Wormsmith.
The Wormsmith ordered you to do our bidding.
It would seem so.
Interesting.
The Wormsmith requested that we undertake your tasks.
The Wormsmith doesn't request. And Gartakar says, there is one thing you could do for us. Give me 1 second. He says, something here in Cracklestow has changed recently. Something, my mind feels like the whole city was pierced by something straight through. It's a feeling I've never felt before. My mind has not felt before. I wish you to investigate what that is. What happened here?
Well, you're gonna have to be a little more descriptive than that. What exactly are we looking for?
And he says, here in the Underdark, a few 10 days ago, there was a great disturbance. It was as if a hole was ripped through the entire world. I believe the Grey Ghosts are behind this. I wish you to find out what the Grey Ghosts have done. I suspect they've used powerful magic, and I ask only that you bring back that magic to us.
Who are the Grey Ghosts?
You would know this in general. The Grey Ghosts are the secret assassins of the Deep King. Who I think there's a limited number of them, maybe 100, but they are known to do the Deep King's bidding. I guess the other thing you would know is that while the Grey Ghosts report directly to the Deep King, the Keepers do not. The Keepers report to Themberchode. So you just from the venom in his words, you get the feeling that there's a schism there that Hemeth would not have particularly told you about or quite honestly known about.
Does the timeline he's mentioning match up with Demogorgon showing up?
Very much.
Is there a hangout? Is there a lead? I can't imagine if they're assassins, if they're just out in the open showing themselves.
We know of one of their agents. He's a weird Darrow named Zeroki. He carries messages to and from the Thieves Guild. From the Grey Ghost to the Thieves Guild. He uses the West Cleft, and so you would know this. The West Cleft, the cleft is the big thing that goes down the middle, and of course the West Cleft is over here. You're looking at the back. He uses the West Cleft as an area of operations. Perhaps you can follow this Darrow scum and locate these Grey Ghosts where he travels to.
And you will arrange for us to be able to pass freely throughout the main city?
We can. We'll give you pins of the Keeper. And you see him sort of order one of the other Keepers who's around him to go get pins for you. He says, if you agree to this, it does not mean you won't be harassed by the guards, but it will give you some credence why you need to pass into the gates and on this side, outside of the Dark Lake District. But being non-Dwergar, it is still an unusual sight for you to be wandering around. And as you're talking, the underling comes back and brings back these little pins. The pins are they're holy symbols of Ladagir, who is one of the Dwergar gods. Let me figure out.
If it wouldn't be too much trouble, we do actually have a fourth companion that would also require a pin.
Yes, we saw the fourth and the fifth. One of our players is not here tonight.
And a sixth.
Was there a sixth at the Giant? There was not, right? None of the NPCs were with you.
Well, there was there.
Well, I guess Starendale.
Oh, okay. Make a persuasion check.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Here we go.
All right. And I'm just going to make a insight this part. So hold on. What is insight? Sorry. Didn't expect this to come up. Keep it flame. Which one? Okay. So insight is wisdom, right? All right. So he gives you a 6th pin. He says, very well, if he is so important to you, I will not stand in the way of you accomplishing the things in the name of Themberchud. Is there any other questions you particularly want to ask him? No. He orders the guide who brought you in to bring you back out to the inn. Like, he's not expecting you guys to like jump on this. And so they lead you out through the city, basically the same route you walked in. If there's anything you want to take a better look at on the way out, let me know. Otherwise, you get to the gate um, and the guards are much more willing to let you through that way than they were the first time, and with or without the pin. And you walk through, and you're now back in that market area.
Well, friends, it appears that in our effort to try to get out of this city, we've, well, ingrained ourselves further into it.
Well, I don't know that this changes anything. We don't need to complete this task.
The thought didn't cross my mind as well. Well, I would prefer not to incur the wrath of a dragon in addition to a demon lord.
I agree. Though I don't want to linger any longer than necessary.
What's your plan? Head back to the inn, or you headed somewhere else?
You should probably regroup with Drazzle and at least loop him in on whatever discussions we have.
Don't break up my vacation island.
So by now, Drazzle has like a skin flake spa. And, all
I've
sorts of
created a little lei that I'm wearing. I'm practicing native dances in my own head.
Hemeth is back in the inn. He's sort of waiting because he's trying to figure out. He normally would not wait around, but because Drazzle's out on an island by himself, he's pretty obligated. Hemeth is there, Eldith is there. By the time you guys get back, Sareth is not. And of course, Stool is there. Drazzle, I think over the day, Darrendel's pretty open with you about what happened. And it becomes a little more clear to you, he actually doesn't know the fate of the others. However, it does seem like the big one is Pepito, because Pepito was asleep with him the same night when he found Thompson killing Turvey, or standing over Turvey's body, right?
Pepito's the last one he knew to be alive.
Right. But he never went back for Pepito. The sight of the ritualistic killing was enough to make Darrendel run. However, Jim Jar is weird because Jim Jar disappeared like a full 10 days earlier. And I don't remember what number I told you, but it was quite a bit early. And it was really weird that they never found anything. And so he's on that one. Like, you can convince him that maybe Pepito's alive.
Mm-hmm.
But with Jim Jar specifically, you think that was the first victim. And he comes up with all these scenarios of, even that night, Topsy and Turvey and Jim Jar were standing watch at the same time. Like, really, really elaborate schemes. Whether or not they're true is another question. But he is firmly believes that Topsy is behind all of this.
Okay. Do you think she is still out there in a danger, or are you just closing story?
She's out there. Do I think she's stalking us? No, I got away, and I'm safe now.
Why then? She go crazy when we all in same cage. Why then?
She probably couldn't produce those weird demonic rituals there. There was no way for her. She didn't have that knife.
And any of the others that were, how did you come here? You were brought here.
He was.
But the others were coming here. How long from when this happened till you got here?
Oh, so it would have been whenever, maybe 10 days. Like, I can do the math on that, but it's roughly 10 days.
So maybe you think any others would come here.
Yeah, and
if someone survived.
Right. And the other thing about all of the others could see in the dark. Like, he had the problem that he wandered around in the dark.
Oh,
He couldn't see.
well, maybe we have friend. We can tell him that if someone come in, who is like us, maybe he can pass word that you're alive.
And he just sobs and he's like, please just help me get to the surface so I can get out of this body and rejoin the Sun Elves.
Yeah, we all want to get out. You must rest and get well.
All right. So there's Drezel, even in your mind, there is some confusion over exactly what happened. Like there's not a clear-cut answer.
Mm-hmm.
You are very, very aware that this is a traumatized individual who is retelling what happened. And so whatever actually happened, you're not. You don't put a lot of stock in that.
Yeah, he's going to keep retelling it and refining it, creating his own truth. So at the end, he'll have a story that may not be what happened, but it's what he's comfortable with.
By this point, honestly. That process already happened in the week he was a slave, right?
Yeah.
Where he was, yeah. So, but who is alive, with the exception of Turvey? You do believe Turvey's dead because Turvey's body was the one that
he found
was strewn about in a demonic fashion, in some sort of demonic ritual. That you believe, but everyone else, whether Topsy is, whether Bubito was, and whether Jim Jar is, you're not sure.
Okay. Drazzle doesn't really care about the others in some massive way. He doesn't feel the obligation to them. He's happy for numbers, for value and resources, but yeah, things die. He's more concerned with trying to make the one who's alive in front of him feel good, so he can continue to be useful.
Okay. Okay. So you guys head back to the inn, is what I heard. Okay. So Eldeth is there, and of course, she's like, "What was that about?" And you can tell the innkeeper is also very curious what that was about. Like that was highly unusual. What, like you being summoned out of the inn. And so everyone, like he's been cleaning like the same mug for like 20 minutes as you get in there. As a Game Hole Con mug.
Well, the Wormsmith just wanted to acknowledge our heroics from the other day. Not so big a deal. This is what I'm publicly saying. Try to throw some cold water on the bartender being interested.
And she's like, well, I mean, that's and Eldith is like, it sounds like it's insane. A giant sprouted a new head. Like that doesn't normally happen. What is our plan? Have you talked to Drazzle? Have you talked to Darren?
Not since this morning. We'll
What do
need
you
to
think?
reconvene with him.
Do you think we still have time yet? What time was it, Corey? Is it like
probably by now? It's like, because so what I said was that Jasa arrived around midday, so you then did this. So I'd probably say it's around like really late afternoon, maybe early, but like.
Well, it takes a few hours to get there. It would be a late night if we were to go there and touch base and come back.
I think we've got a lot to share with Drazzle.
I agree.
Would we be able to bring Eldeth and Stool with us as well?
Emmett says he'll call in a favor and get a second boat. It's not a boat that you could take with you permanently.
But to ferry us out there.
Like if it's just for an evening, yeah, like he can go.
Well, do we need a boat that we can take? And I'm just looking at Jasla.
I think we may need one eventually.
Okay, but not tonight.
When we're prepared to venture on, but I don't think Darendel will be ready to travel quite yet. I think we have a couple of days before Darendel's ready to travel.
Very well.
All right. So, all of you are headed out tonight, or no?
I believe so.
Is Sarah? Are you waiting for Sarah? Just to account for all the people in your group.
I mean, he's already gone, right?
I don't think so.
He is currently not in the inn. It doesn't mean you couldn't try to find him, but he's.
I think we'll just leave a message with the barkeep.
Okay.
Tell him we'll be back the next morning.
Unlike some of the rest of us, he is of the Underdark, and probably the most capable of finding his way back to wherever it is that he wishes to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I suspect the only reason he's still staying here with us is because it furthers whatever goals he's currently undertaking in the moment.
What you know, at least publicly, what he's saying is he's looking for a place to go because amongst the Drow community, he is seen as a murderer, right? And so he's, I think, not sure. Sorry, like that. He knows he can't just go back to Mensa Brown without dealing with some consequences or being willing to defend himself. Okay, so you guys all head out. You take the boat out there, and it is. I'm just gonna narrate some things for you. You guys pack some food so that there's food, sort of when you get there, warm food and whatnot. Are you being stealthy about how you go there, or are you just taking a direct route?
I think I would rely on Hemeth's wisdom for that.
So Hemeth sort of takes a roundabout, but not like a completely like sketchy way. So he just doesn't go directly there, so it takes a little bit longer, but not like a huge amount. And it's probably like it's late evening, like maybe 2 hours before sort of you would normally bed down. When you arrive, and Drazel and Darendel, you hear the sort of, not only do you hear one boat now, but you hear two boats sort of headed towards you, and you see them approaching. He pulls up the boats. Hemeth pulls up the boats to shore, and it's not very comfortable, and because it's not a huge island, it's actually a little crowded with all of you there, but you are all there. And Stool launches his spores into the air. He hasn't had a chance to do that. And so you have a good hour to talk very privately.
Guys, we have a vacation spot. Maybe we settle here, rest.
I don't think we can settle here for too long.
Okay. What we do now? We go?
Well, Dr. Drazel, what do you think of your patient's healing?
He broke, but he get better with rest. He can rest on boat. He can rest here. What we need to. Him just one person.
He's just one person, but we'll be more successful if all of us are at full strength when we head out.
He will have strength, but he will be broken here. So I don't know what help he will be.
Are any of you trained in medicine?
Nope.
I am.
All right. So Drazel, you would know that he can travel. Like
Yeah.
he's not going to be able to be in a fight, but you already have individuals in your group who are not actively in fights, right? Like so it's
Yeah.
not that big of a stretch.
Yeah,
So
so-
if you guys wanted to travel, you could.
Yeah, I think we can put him in the boat, and he's not going to be much use to us, but he can rest in the boat as well as rest here.
Okay.
So, are we all resolved that we're bugging out of Gracklstow?
Yeah, I haven't
Is
really
this a
got an idea what
conversation we need to have?
this thing about dragon. What is this?
Yeah,
And
we were.
we can relay what that was.
I will also say Hemeth is not going to leave Gracklstow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have to think about what Hemeth is, and one of the boats is his. So
Right, we would need to get another boat then.
yeah, like just he's not going to.
Yeah, we're not leaving tonight.
Well, and when we do leave Hemeth, I rather hoped that you might guide us at least to a landing point that would get us on our way to Blinkenstone.
And he says absolutely. Like I will. There are some tunnels that lead off the Dark Lake as you go north of the city, and they're easy to describe and no problem. I can make a little map for you.
And then we'll be out of your hair and you won't have to deal with surfacers any longer.
And he blushes as much as Beauregard is going to blush, but he says, "You haven't been that much trouble. I wouldn't normally say this, but you've been a positive influence on our city. Between stopping whatever this madness that happened in the market, and now getting the attention of the dragon. I don't." And you see him a little bashful, and he says, "I certainly wish I had my friends staying here a little bit longer."
Now, that brings up an interesting question, Hemeth. We were not entirely truthful at the inn. The dragon gave us a task.
Okay.
If we depart without fulfilling his request, will that impact the city?
He turns to you and asks, he's like, what was the task?
He wanted us to do the bidding of his keepers and kind of loop him in on information that we were getting.
He wants us to be his spies. It appears he does not trust his keeper of the flame.
Hermith sits down on a rock and he doesn't say anything for a few minutes. And I'll let you guys keep on whatever conversation you're gonna have, but I'll Hemeth will pop up in a minute as you make your plan.
Well,
So, the only reason I ask that is that I don't want us turning our back on this task to impact Hemeth negatively.
What's his task? What need do?
Spying, really.
On who?
The Grey Ghosts.
So me, big lizard, everyone see. Spy on ghost, nobody see.
Good point, Drazel, and one I tried to make with the worm speaker, but he did not seem convinced by my argument.
Does it want us dead? This will get us dead.
well, it could be. I mean, they're concerned that these gray ghosts had possession of some magic, something they couldn't really describe themselves, but it
That's
don't
not
know.
right. That's not right, though. If you think about it, they think the Grey Ghosts unleashed something, but it happened the moment the Demogorgon came into this plane. The Demogorgon is what did it.
And
Unless
frankly, as
Gragos knows something about what brought the Demogorgon around.
Do you not think it was the Koatoa's sacrifices?
Well, I sort of don't think. I don't know. I didn't spend a lot of time with those Koatoa, but they didn't seem like they would be capable of bringing such a powerful being into this realm unaided.
At this point, Hemeth sort of out of the silence of him, and so you all catch it, turns to you and says, do you think he's their prisoner?
Sort of seemed that way.
The thought occurred to me. I don't know that he's entirely a prisoner.
Every 100 or so years, a new dragon appears and the other one disappears.
okay, then yes.
So this thing was flying free, we saw. How he prisoner? He can fly.
He's a prisoner of his own avarice.
I don't
He's
know.
a prisoner because they give him everything that he wants, so he is disinclined to leave. He doesn't believe he's a prisoner.
So, like, if I gave you freedom, you would not leave.
Well, that's a tricky one, because if you gave me freedom, I'd be free to leave.
Oh.
But if someone were to tell you, Drazzle, that you can have the most comfortable bed you've ever slept on and they'll give you all the soup you could ever want so long as you don't leave, what would you do?
I would not leave. This. Why would you leave when you have everything?
But you don't have everything because you don't have freedom.
But you have all the freedom. That was your thing.
Freedom is not pie, Drazzle. Me having it doesn't mean you don't.
You? I don't know. I think dragon want leave, dragon leave, find new thing. Everybody give everything to dragon.
But what if he doesn't know he's their prisoner?
I think that's exactly true.
Like,
I think he
where
may
does
he
the
may have
other
a
dragon
suspicion.
go? Like, this is where Hemeth is trying to figure out. Like, there was a dragon before this wormsmith, and he disappeared, and now there's this dragon.
Well, I hate to state the obvious, but even dragons die, yes?
Whoa, thanks for the
Even
dance,
dragons
man.
can be killed.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
I mean, I imagine lighting the forges is not exactly an occupation that comes with many life-threatening risks, but was the last
And-
dragon an old dragon?
And you saw the shape he's in. They are not. He's not getting any exercise. He'll be weak. When they
So-
decide to kill him, it won't be difficult.
I think the last thing Hemeth says, well, and that is useful, is, but where does the new dragon come from?
We get new dragon. We kill this dragon. We free this dragon. We do something make this place have no dragon.
I
We-
don't.
we
I think you're
lose.
on the wrong track. We are not going to kill that dragon. There is no chance that we could kill him.
So everybody happy but dragon.
And I think he's perfectly happy too, really.
No,
But I'm-
no fix.
What I am torn is, what we don't, other than the threat of death, we don't owe Thumbershow or this city anything.
I agree. I just don't want our choices to negatively impact Hemeth and those in the city who are innocent of anything.
Well, no offense, Hemeth, but from what I've seen of this,
Oh, and Hemeth puts his hands up and he's like, I'm not asking you to fix anything. I'm just saying that this is, it has never occurred to me
I'm not
the
offering to
reason
fix.
why dragons disappear and a new one appears.
It is a good question.
I don't mean to offer to fix anything, but I don't want my actions to make anything worse.
If we're not here, we don't know is worse.
I don't know, Vic. You seem awfully quiet. You were there with me when we went to the Stone Guard headquarters. I mean, I did my civic duty, and honestly, I admitted it was somewhat self-motivated. I mean, if Gracklestow can delay this Demogorgon from rising to the surface, then we're all better for it. But if we are met with advice, or if we give out help and we are met with threats of slavery, then I have a feeling we're not so welcome here.
Yeah, and honestly, Dolfix, that was a step further than I was comfortable with. I was definitely worried that we'd find ourselves shackled or on that auction block. I think there are a lot of things here happening politically, things that don't involve us, things that are way over my head. Really, where I'm at, I just want to see all my friends safe and sound, and the longer we stick around here, it seems the longer we're compromising our ability to stay free. That's my 2 cents.
I think you're right.
Agreed.
It is regrettable if we turn our backs on this. You know, Hemeth, probably this will be the last time we see each other.
Well, this won't, because we need to find boats that we can actually take.
You mean in general? I
Right.
presume. So Hemeth says, if you hadn't come to Slubadub, I wouldn't have be seeing anything right now. So my life will be forever changed by the fact that you showed up there. Not just because you saved my life, but first and foremost, you showed me that foreigners can actually do good in my city, but also I'm not sure what to make of this idea that the keepers are sinister. I mean, that's what you're saying, right?
So, or at least the worm speaker doesn't trust them.
Oh.
I don't know, maybe that knowledge, maybe that's
and
enough
he-
for things to change. Maybe you knowing this changes something here in Grecklestow.
And he sort of shows his palms up, and he's like, "I'm a fisherman. I think the most I have to provide to this city is food and the story of that maybe I caught the biggest fish that day." I would say he's carefully choosing his words, and you all realize that he's like, you don't belong here. Like, I understand that. Like, you are my friends, and because you're my friends, I want you to go home. Like, I'm not suggesting that you need to stay here. But if you do, I trust that you will bring good here.
I think we go. I no hero before, no hero now. No one to die in jail, no one to die in Dragonmouth. So I think we get on boat. Go to see Sun.
I agree with Drazzle.
Yes.
So what is going to be the plan then? One of the boats has to go back. It's Hemeth's boat. And it does not sound like you're trying to come into your Hemeth's boat.
No. I guess we stay here the night.
Okay.
And then ask Hemeth to go back and maybe find another boat.
Okay. Is anyone going back with him?
We
Yeah, that's the question.
Send someone who's a good negotiator back, who's got high charisma and a charmer, wins over the crowd. Sounds like
Thanks for volunteering, Vic.
So I
And
would
I
say two
could-
questions. One of which I think you answered before, but I'm just going to ask it again. Are you making any attempt to bring Sareth with you when you go back? The second is what?
You're
what-
asking us this question a lot, and it's getting me
No,
worried.
no. Just because there's like a package, like what I would use in
Yeah.
security, a package, right? Like a group of you. And I'm not suggesting anything one way or the other. I'm just asking, like, I'm making sure we account for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think asking him to come is about as far as we probably would
Yeah,
go, right?
if Vic's gonna go back, and I'm not saying he has to, then I would suggest Vic at least pose the question to him.
yeah, so my plan, if I'm going, and presumably I just go by myself to help procure this boat or whatnot, I probably use disguise self. I don't want to be, picked up on by. I'll just disguise myself as a Duergar, just like him, like a fisherman going back. And I probably would stop by the tavern or the inn one more time. At the very least, I'll leave him a note explaining this is kind of what's going on with us. Probably not too many details, but just an explanation of well wishes or whatever if I don't bump into him.
And what is your? Are you stealing a boat? Are you persuading? Are you buying a boat? That sort of thing.
I think I'd ideally want to legitimately buy it, just not to try to.
So, how much money do you guys have as a group? And how much are you taking of that with you?
I currently have 34 gold, and I have 3 diamonds, whatever those are worth.
I think we decided. Are they 50 maybe? I can look that up.
Sounds right. It was a smaller amount.
Yeah.
25. I have 25 gold
25
for each diamond. That's what we wrote down on our,
Oh, what
our
25
sheet. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna look up what a boat is in equipment. The equivalent of a keel boat. So the most basic boat, which is probably and MS will tell you this, a rowboat, which will not like it'll be excruciating to get anywhere in a rowboat. That's 50 gold, and then everything that's better is pretty incremental above that. So like 500 would be the next upgrade.
Is that going to be like comparable quality to the one that he has?
Yeah, like if using Hemeth to negotiate it, absolutely. And
Okay.
the question is whether or not you're going to use Hemeth, which would connect you. Once again, that's not a leading question. I'm just sort of throwing things out.
Oh yeah, I think for sure we lean on him to kind of.
Okay.
He would be the one that would know where can we get the best deal. Something that's not gonna. He'd be able to like tell us it's a boat capable of getting us where we need to and all
Yeah,
those things.
yeah, absolutely. He will find you the cheapest and use his connections to find you one. Okay. No one else is going back with you, right?
No, I don't think so.
And you guys did a long rest, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Alex, will you roll a d20 for me? All right. So the next day you paddle back, and you you paddle back with Hemeth, and so the two of you sort of it's really quiet, like it's really one of the things you heard in the Koatoa village, which you now realize, like Hemeth is just a quiet guy. So in a lot of ways, as you two are paddling back, like there are moments in which you feel alone on the dark lake. And one of the things you heard in the Koatoa village was that Koatoa go out intentionally, and Shushanar did this. They go out intentionally on the lake to find themselves. And it makes complete sense to you now. Like it is sensory deprivation to an extreme, right? You're paddling, and that's the only thing you're hearing, and you don't see much. Like you do see the radius around you, but after that, like maybe occasionally you see a shape like a stalagmite, and you understand both the peace of that and the terror of it. Like just it's like being in outer space for us, right? And as you move towards the city, the dim lights get brighter, and you move towards it. And so Hemeth says basically, "Hey, I'll meet you here midday, and I'll tell you what I know about boats, and you do whatever you need to do."
All right, that sounds good. I'm gonna go and make one stop before I meet up with you.
Okay.
And I'll head to the inn.
Okay. So when you get back to the inn, and you're now dressed as a Dwargar, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This guy's a Dwargar. So you head in, and you see the same scene. No one seems to recognize you, so the one of the staff comes up to you and says, "Oh, like, can I get you a drink?"
That'll be okay. I'm looking for Sereth. Have you seen him?
And she looks and she says, "I think he came in maybe an hour ago. Like I think he's back in his quarters."
Okay, I know which one it is.
She wanders off and is wiping down the table.
I'll go and head to his room and knock on the door first.
He's there. He's sleeping. There's no answer on the door, but the door is not locked or anything.
Okay, I'll walk in and kind of kneel down. Is he? I don't know if he's, or is he in a bed? I'll just kind of like sort of as politely as you can wake a person up. Shake him a little bit.
Wakes up and he says, what?
It's Vic.
And he starts, yeah. Hi. What's the plan? He says.
We're all heading out. We're leaving.
Are you leaving me behind?
Well, no. That's why I've come back, but we can't stay here any longer. It's a little more than I can get into right now, but we're coming back one last time to see if you want to come with us or not.
Where are we headed next?
Well, I think the plan is ultimately to Blingdenstone, but we need to get Stool back to his people too.
He says, okay. And for the first, remember, he hasn't been around a lot, certainly in your presence. But as you say that, you see his hand stretch up to his head. He starts scratching, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I'll pack my things." And he gets up.
One condition, Sereth. That thing on your head, you're gonna let Drazzle take a look at it.
He's like, "What? It's just alopecia." People know what alopecia is in the Forgotten Realms. It's just like it's stress.
Yeah, you know that that line's not going to work on any of us. It's clearly there's something going on. It needs to be looked at. Drazzle is a healer. You know, we could maybe do something to help you with whatever that is.
All right, I swear. And he's packing stuff in his thing, in his pack. And he's ready to follow. So
then we'll go back and meet up with
Hemeth.
Hemeth.
Is there anything else you guys need to buy? Anything before you leave? You are the last hope for that.
I mean, if we don't want to keep scavenging for food, maybe some rations.
That'd be about it.
I was like, all of you are comfortable at this point that you can scavenge for food. Not that it's the most tasty, but
Okay. Yeah, I
Like,
think getting a good
you
boat
are
is.
all really, really comfortable. If you did it on the Dark Lake, you can certainly do it. Like Dark Lake, where things are sparse, you can certainly do it.
Okay. Yeah,
I
I think
think,
getting a boat is my priority.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what I was kind of thinking. Is like seeing how much the boat ultimately costs. Then we can see what our budget is for any extras out on top of that.
Oh. So you guys wait around in the dock, you and Sarah, and eventually Hemeth comes over and says, I have one guy who can sell you one of the flatboats. It's going to take some persuading. It's not the greatest flatboat, but if all you're doing it is taking it one way, it'll do what you need. Like it's on the end of its life. And he sort of like urges you to come over to sort of have a conversation. And Hemeth is going to help you, but Hemeth isn't going to buy it for you.
Yeah.
So, I assume you follow.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a good enough lead. This will be a budget kind of thing. That's all we need it for. Perfect.
So he, the guy comes in. It's a grizzled old Duergar, like super, super old, and old enough to the point where you genuinely think that maybe he's getting out of the fishing game. Like it's like this boat is as old as he is, and maybe he's just trying to make some money at the end of his career. And he says, I hear you on my boat.
Well, maybe. Depends. Could take a look at it.
Well, it's right there. Feel free to take it for a spin.
And I probably would do that. Like, I'm gonna be like very kind of like, you know, I'm buying a used car. Like, I don't know,
tires.
kick it a few times. Yeah, like.
Hey, hands off the merchandise. Yeah, like it's like take it to for a spin. You're not beating it.
Well, how much were you thinking?
Taking 200 gold. It's
200
old
gold.
Bessie there. She's served me well. Like when you're in that boat, you'll catch fish nonstop. I promise you.
So I guess a question we hadn't gotten to is what is our total money situation?
I only got 10 gold on me.
Okay.
I don't think I was holding on to any of my gold.
I did give everybody 100 gold out of the money that we got from selling the gemstones, and I still have 100 gold. So
yeah, I'm not aware of you guys buying a lot of things.
So if I keep 10 of that for my little share, we have 90 in the party pot. But then we also have those gemstones that Hemeth gave us.
So each of us had a bonus 100 gold.
10. I gave everybody
10.
got 10 gold out of
10.
the 200 that I got from selling some gemstones at the beginning. And of that, we have 100 left, but I didn't take 10, so there's 90 left if I take 10 out of it.
Gotcha.
But then there's also 3 diamonds worth 25 gold apiece. And I think that's it. That's all I'm seeing.
Okay.
Do you want me? I can look at Zalm if you want. Let me just make sure he's not sitting on a lot of money. Who are you? Out of the abyss.
Looking at the party sheet, I don't think he is. I think everything's been recorded.
Yeah, he has 12 gold on him and 5 silver.
So we have 90 gold in the party pot. We also could each kick money back in because everybody got 10 gold.
90 gold, maybe 75 from diamonds,
Yeah.
and then party gold. So with party gold, you could afford this boat. You could try to talk him down.
Yeah, I'll try. I wonder. So I had 3 diamonds marked down. I wonder if I don't have those.
Let me look at the party sheet. There were diamonds that I feel like came earlier, and then there was diamonds that came from Hemeth.
There were some gemstones that came earlier that I had, and I sold them.
Okay.
That's where the 200 gold that we had
Great.
in the party pot came from.
Quartermaster. Yep. So there was the moonstone that you guys found. Oh, there's a bunch of stuff. Dressel, are you sure you don't have a lot of money?
I don't know why I would have any because I never needed to carry any. So
You took a silver chain headdress.
I thought that was the underwear thing.
No, there's also the headdress. We've never sold that.
Yeah.
So we would have a lot of money if we sold that as well.
I actually have to look up how much that might be.
Yeah, I was looking at. I didn't see anything like that, so I don't know.
And honestly, that drawing might be worth something too.
The drawings, it's not. I'll tell you that. The drawing of Elvira, no.
Yeah.
No. But let me look up the what I write in there.
Yeah, you wrote it down for me.
7, chapter 1. Okay. Let me look real quick. This is why I put where it came from, because area 7, chapter 1.
Yeah, the bloodstones and the tourmaline are the ones that I sold.
It would be worth 50 if you tried to sell it. 50 gold.
That's that headdress.
Yeah. Are you, Dressel, do you have any attachment to that?
No, I barely remember it. I remember the underwear I was wearing on my head, not the headdress.
That was in there. And there was some gold, the moonstones, there was a potion of healing in that chest that you found.
Yeah, the potions of healing we used. The moonstone I don't think we've done anything with, so we might still be able to sell that.
The moonstone is, and feel free to throw this on or I can. Moonstone's 20. This is also where you guys found the spare component patch, which I think went to.
Yep. Well, and also just looking back at that, there was 24 gold and 30 silver in there that I don't think we ever gave out.
Oh, is it still sitting on the sheet?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we need to do a better job of that. I'm not that worried at this point, but
yeah. So we've got a handful more gold than we thought.
Okay.
So it sounds like we've got enough to buy the boat. Maybe we can deal with like the accounting and like where it's coming from, like afterwards. Absolutely. If that sounds good.
Let's just figure out what the price of the boat's going to be based on your negotiations, and then we'll.
Yeah, that sounds good.
We'll account later. So so you're gonna try to talk them down?
Yeah, I think so. I'll start to point out some of the flaws and like it's a little leaky here, or whatever, you know.
Counter offering.
Yeah, he said what, 200? I'll say I'll try 150.
150. Okay. Make me a persuasion check. Why can't? Oh, there I am. So he looks at you and he's like, I don't think I can do 150. Like, got mouth to feed. Oh, 180.
And I'll say 180, and you throw in some fishing gear, some of your fishing gear. You're a fisherman?
Yeah, I don't have any use of it, or I won't once I have this 180.
All right, you throw that in. We'll call it a deal.
Okay. Yeah. So no problem. So you buy the second boat for 180 gold. He throws in like literally everything he has: nets, fishing gear, stuff like that. And you pass over the gold, and Hemeth is like, Hemeth is very respectful to whoever this guy is, and Hemeth sort of leads you back. And so now, here, maybe not a problem. You guys have 3 boats. That, right? Like, it's not a big deal because you can do it, but you will have to trust Sareth. That's. I'm really not making a big deal about Sareth. I don't know why I keep bringing this up, but like,
I'll come.
you have to. You have. I really am not. Sareth is going to be one of the pilots. You are going to be another, and Hemeth, because he has to lead you back, right? Is going to be his boat, his own boat.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't think Vic is really questioning it at all. I mean,
okay, no. I'm not. I'm just trying. People who know me know I'm very logistically oriented. Me as a person, not as even a DM. So I'm just suggesting, like, basically, if you had not taken Sareth, I would have started being like, "How are you going to do this?" Is really where this is going. So okay, so Sareth, the 3 of you pedal off unless there's anything else you want to do in the city. And you pedal off, and so by now it is definitely of this next day. It is past midday. By the time you get there, those of you on the island, it is really quiet. Like the most you hear is occasionally you do hear like a fisherman passing. They never really get close enough to seeing, but you can hear like boats moving in and out of the city. Is there anything you guys on the island are doing to prepare for departure?
Yeah, gathering up our things. Most of my stuff's pretty clear. I just been taking care of our injured party.
Okay.
And if he gets the island, I'm going to do lesser restoration on him and see if I can find some way to solve whatever this condition is.
Okay. Yeah. So that give me a second for that. Any of the others of you do anything in particular?
Oh, not particularly.
Okay.
No, yeah. I'm just waiting for the others to get back.
Okay. And eventually, like I said, a little bit past midday, you start to hear a bunch of boats paddling in your direction. And sure enough, you see Hemeth and Sareth and Vic appear in the darkness. Yep. So Hemeth comes up to you and says, well, this will be it then.
Yeah.
Are you leaving tonight?
Yeah. We leave.
If we're all rested and ready, yes.
Yes, I believe so.
I don't know what anyone else's thoughts are, but I don't know that we will have any use for that boat or anything after we get to our landing. Hemeth, if you guide us there and you want to take it back and sell it, you're welcome to.
Hemeth thinks about it. And then Hemeth is like, I'll do this for you. I'll draw you the map of where I think you should go. If you leave the boat there, I'll come back for it if I can find it. If you got off in the place that you thought. You got the dragon involved in this. And I'm not real keen on leading you there and then coming back to the city. I'd like for there to be some distance. he pulls out a pouch and he says, "If you promise me you're going to where I draw the map, I'll give you this gold." And you can hear it's jingling. He's like, I don't have much, but it's something, and maybe it'll help you get through the rest of it.
We're not accomplished sailors, but we'll get as close as we can.
He's like, I understand. Like if it's not the exact right place, I understand. And so he do any of you have paper that you can draw on, or something you can draw on?
I
Got my shield.
No, that's fine.
I was trying to get paper before because it helps me recall new words I learned.
Well, we can, some of that, like Zirkwood or one of those woods can be used for it, right?
Yeah.
It's a little dark, but with charcoal you can sort of like at least make out the details. And he starts to talk you through, like, okay, like you're gonna go through like these are the sort of shapes of stalagmites you're looking for, shapes of rocks, etc. These are the things, like, because a lot of navigating around the city is using the lights of the city as a sort of beacon. And so he talks you through it pretty well, pretty professionally. And he tells you a place where he thinks that you could end up on the north side of the city, on your way in the direction of Blingdenstone, and not he gives you a place. He hands over what is a pouch of 45 gold for leaving the boat there. He's not, you can tell he's a little unsure because he's not sure how he's going to explain to someone that he has to go pick up a boat in the middle of nowhere, but he'll figure it out.
Money. Give him money. Easy story.
And he does a very, like, awkward but very Dwergar, like, he won't hug you, even though you can tell he's very affectionate towards all of you at this point, but he will shake your hand in a very, like, formal manner. And he sort of very, like, frog in the throat, gets on his boat, and you hear him pedal off.
Oh, I was gonna stop him for a second though.
Please.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Hamish. You've been more than generous.
I'm gonna hug him.
He's
He
strange man.
make an acrobatics check to see if he evades it.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, what did you get?
25.
He tries to do, like, the side hip and then the twist, and you catch him right in it.
Arm load a halfling.
And he's totally like he's begrudgingly accepting it, but you can tell for effect he is trying.
He brought this on himself.
And as he's getting on the boat, he turns to you and he's like, you saw what I saw. Like, we'd all be dead right now, right?
Yes, Hamish. Tell me, this business with the worm speaker and the keeper of the flames, does this weigh on your mind?
And he says, I'm a fisherman. What do I know? But I never thought in my life that I'd say that the wormsmith was against the keepers. Like, that makes no sense to me. I don't know what that means.
And if anyone doesn't have any objections, Dolphix is gonna give Hemith our 6 pins that the keeper gave us.
So Hemith can move in and out of the city fine.
Yeah, but
Okay.
the pins also kind of affiliate you to the keeper of the flame, right?
He says thanks.
Listen,
I don't. you knew this before, but like before you gave it to him, but he feels the necessary to explain. He's like, hey, I think in all of this, I feel bad for the wormsmith. I don't understand what it means. He provides this as service. This whole city wouldn't exist without him.
Hermes, before all of this, I was simply a tutor. Yes, I was well learned and I traveled. I knew the skill with the blade, but my primary occupation was tutoring young children. And now here we are, and I'm on the run for my life. We've encountered a demon lord, and among many other things, fought off slavers and saved new friends. I don't think you being a fisherman is in any way a negative in any of your pursuits. And I encourage you, if this is really something that concerns you, that concerns your city, then perhaps these pins and any allies that you can find within the city may be a path worth pursuing.
And he turns to you and says, I tried to tell my brother about what we saw, and he just said I was drunk or I was crazy. He just didn't believe it. And, I'll try. I don't have any other place to go. But I understand what you've all said about this thing maybe coming this way towards the city and this being a danger. And if I have any role to play here, I'll do my best to play it. But I don't know if they'll listen to me. They're so focused on work and forging, and everything we've gone through has opened my eyes. And I am a very different dwarf today because of it. A better dwarf, I'd say. But I don't know. This is my home. I have to stay here. I have to try to protect it. And I will try. But I don't know what to end. I don't know what will happen here. And he sort of sighs and he turns, gives sort of a awkward wave, and he puts one foot into the boat and sort of pushes off with the other foot. And he turns around as the boat's sort of leaving, and he says, I hope you all, I don't know, send a postcard or something. When you get up, take a picture of the sun or something, like draw it. I want to see what it's like.
This strange man.
Um,
He'd probably better if we leave him alone. He'd go back to being normal for this place. Maybe him broken. This talk get him in jail, then him killed. He fisherman, leader.
Well, Drazzle, he's got more of a chance than anyone that I can think of. Certainly not us.
That low bar.
Yes, of course.
Are you guys leaving tonight, or are you gonna leave first thing in the morning?
If we can sail at night.
It's going to be a thing of exhaustion, a level of exhaustion. Oh. Oh. So I think what we'll do is we'll leave it for there. You'll have no problem getting to sort of where the boat landing is next morning. But we'll leave it there just so that you can pick new spells over the week. And so yeah, we are 20 sides to every story. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I saw Moondog in the audience. It makes me happy to see him after a while. Please, if you haven't had the chance, follow our Twitch stream and join our Discord. Both are pretty active. Our Twitch stream tends to be active most nights of the week. We have a bunch of different adventures going on. Do we have? Are you playing tomorrow night, Alex? Okay. So tomorrow night we're silent. Saturday morning I'll be back with our Oracles of War Eberron, and then Saturday evening we have Kingmaker with Dave. Sunday we have Call of Cthulhu in what is going to be already, we can tell, a fantastic, as the momentum of Call of Cthulhu starts to pick up on Sunday. And then we have our whole week start to repeat on Monday. So check us out. If you really like what you saw, we highly encourage you to join our Patreon or to subscribe to the Twitch channel. Those of you who have a Twitch or Amazon Prime account, you get a free Twitch subscription every month, so you can use that. But otherwise, both give you some great benefits, including access to the community campaign. With that, we will be back next Thursday to continue this adventure, as it sounds like the party is going to start headed towards Stool's hometown, which should be pretty interesting. So with that, I'm going to say goodnight, and thank you, everyone.